The scent of her mother's pumpkin pie was the only thing that mattered. For the first time in 3 years, Captain Maya Vance was going to make it home for Thanksgiving. They called her the ghost in the crew lounge. Not because she was scary, but because she was quiet, always slipping out right after debrief, her eyes holding a distance no party invitation could bridge. The younger flight attendants whispered she was cold, that she'd lost her nerve after the incident. Management had quietly moved her to less demanding routes. She saw the pity in their glances. She preferred it to the truth. 2 years ago, a bird strike over the Atlantic took out both engines on her Airbus. She'd glided that screaming metal bird for 18 endless minutes, ditching it in the icy water. She saved 189 lives, but the co-pilot, her best friend, didn't make it out. The silence of the ocean after the scream stopped had been living in her bones ever since. Her phone buzzed on the counter next to the pie. An unknown number, then a text, UA-247. Hijack, you're the closest qualified on ACARS. They have a bomb. The world shrank to the words on the screen, UA-247. An Airbus A320, her aircraft, 164 souls in a metal tube at 35,000 feet. She was in her car in 60 seconds, speeding toward the closed executive airport, barking coordinates into her phone. They cleared a helicopter. She was airborne in 4 minutes, climbing toward a civilian airliner now being flown by a sobbing first officer, a gun to his head. She patched into the cockpit comms. She heard the hijacker's ragged breathing, the terrified whispers of a flight attendant. She used a voice she didn't recognize, calm and motherly, speaking directly to the hijacker. She talked about landing, about solutions, all while guiding the trembling first officer through a series of subtle fuel-dumping maneuvers she'd perfected in simulations. Just a little rudder trim, Mike, easy. Think of it like balancing a bicycle. She led the hijacker to believe they were complying, while she was quietly preparing the plane for the only option left, a dead stick landing on a short, rain-slicked runway. The tires screamed like dying animals on touchdown. The plane shuddered, a wounded beast, and stopped with mere feet to spare. Silence, then cheers. The news cycle called it a miracle, but the narrative twisted by morning. A talking head asked, why was an off-duty pilot allowed to effectively seize control of a flight? What if she'd been wrong? The airline, fearing liability, suspended her pending a review. Online, armchair experts dissected her every word, suggesting she'd risked lives for glory. The thank you cards from passengers were drowned out by the noise of doubt. Then, the NTSB released the cockpit voice recorder. The world heard her steady, compassionate voice guiding the crew. Heard her whisper to the sobbing first officer, my friend would be proud of you, just like I am. They heard the hijacker sob, thank you, before surrendering, disarmed by her empathy. The suspension was lifted, a formal commendation was issued. But Maya just went back to her quiet house, the pie now stale on the counter. Then share your thoughts in the comments, but no one liked or subscribed the pilot.